Peace fans, your brother B coming at you again live and direct Southside Chicago. You know what it is. Today we're gonna talk about a very important topic that I feel like it's not giving the light that I feel like it deserves. And sometimes when it gets light, it's done in a very dim manner. It's not really pushing the more elevated and more progressive and practical elements of the topic. From what I've seen so far, I mean, some people are doing it, but it could be done a lot better and moved a lot better. And that's the element of manhood. And I feel like it's very timely to talk about manhood right now because it seems that some of the most brilliant men that we've had, some of the most strong examples of manhood has come about and was born in this week. You know what I'm saying? And it began with February 17th, which is the birth of my man Huey P. Newton. So I'm rocking this shirt right now, y'all can see. Brother Huey P. Newton, long live Brother Huey P., born February 17th, 1942. And also on February 17th, our shining black prince, Brother Khalil Abdul Muhammad, was assassinated on February 17th, I believe 2000 or 2001. And then later on, another figure who some people might think is controversial and shouldn't be added to the list, but if you look at it from another eye, he definitely deserves to be in that list. And that's Brother Chief Malik, or also known as Jeff Ford, who was born February 20th. You know, the founder of the Almighty Black Peace Stone Nation. And also, after that is Brother Malcolm X on February 21st. Brother Omar Wale, Brother El Haj Malik Shabazz was assassinated as well on February 21st, 1965. So in that 1 week span, you seem like a lot of energy, a lot of male, you know what I'm saying, raw male energy was manifested in that time. And we have to look at that and look at manhood and how it should be manifested in this time. I know the whole topic of manhood or the definition of manhood is very elusive. It has not really been concretely planted in the minds of our people, in the minds of our children. So therefore, men or males are growing up without an understanding of manhood. So therefore, they cannot really fulfill their malehood responsibilities, their manhood roles, and their manhood rights. So I feel like we have to really spend a lot more time focusing on what it means to be a man. What do men do? What is the function of being a man? What is the criteria to get that title of nobility? A lot of times, like I always say, we use these titles and these words very loosely, so they lose their power and their meaning. Everybody's not a man, bro. And I'm not trying to say like I'm the authority on manhood because I'm still learning. I'm gonna be honest with you and humble with you. Like a nigga still figuring this shit out my damn self. So I feel like I'm not an authority on any of these topics. I'm just one who's learning and hopefully allowing the spirit, you know what I'm saying, of the Most High and the most brilliant ancestors, the most powerful ancestors, to be able to use me as a conduit or as a vessel to impart ideas to us. I learned just as much from these clips as anybody else does. I said that before, and it's real. So, getting back to the whole element of manhood, you know, there are two major things that I see or I hear consistently when it comes to manhood. And those two things are provide and protect. So, we think about providing, we have to understand that providing, it goes beyond monetary accumulation. Not saying we're discarding money or monetary, you know what I'm saying, realities. We understand that you also can provide vision. You also can provide, you know what I'm saying, direction. That's what a man does, and provide a plan and an order for the family, for the household, for the community. These are things that the men should produce. And the Minister Farrakhan a while back talked about manhood and womanhood in relationship to the biblical scripture. And we know this is allegorical story, but we cannot throw out the Bible because it still has a lot of pristine truth in it once you look at it with a critical, concerted eye. So we talk about how Eve was made, you know what I'm saying, symbolically, how Eve was made to be a helpmeet to Adam. To be a helpmeet to Adam. So what is a helpmeet? He said, help me what? So what I'm saying is the woman helps the man help meet the goal for the society and for the community. Because we understand that men have the ability, not saying women don't have the ability, but men has the ability to set up structure. You know what I'm saying? And to establish structure, establish vision, establish plans. And the woman being the power that she is, she pushes it forward. She pushes the man forward to move. You know what I mean? Even from a biological and sexual level. when the sperm is evacuated or released from the man's phallus, there's a head and there's a tail. The tail moves the head forward. You feel me? So I feel like that's symbolic of the relationship between man and woman. Not saying it's set in stone, but I'm saying as a whole, as a template, I feel like that may be warranted to understand or to look at as a woman being the one who pushes the man forward. It pushes him to do great things. Cause I'm saying, like, if you got a real queen on your side, G, a real sister on your side, an empress on your side that's gonna really push you, G, ain't nothing a man won't do for that sister. If he really, you know what I'm saying, has an understanding of what this thing is really about. But she has to be able to support him and add aid and assistance. Even in the white man's world, you see that he really promotes having a couple sisters on deck, having a Condoleezza Rice on deck to help him to push his agenda. Even in business, they make sure they have a woman, black women in on deck to organize and to really mobilize their structure. So I'm saying that we need our women back, G. You feel me? To help us to really provide and push our structure, push our agenda, push our growth and development as a people in a community. And like I said, this tape right here, even though, I mean, we're talking about this topic, I know people are going to be defensive and, you know what I'm saying, a little tender and sensitive to certain things, which I understand. But I'm telling you, all this shit is in love, G. I want us to come up. You feel me? I don't give a fuck about nothing else but us coming up as a people. So I mean, like this is all love, G. It's all sincerity coming through it. So don't be like, oh, this nigga kind of hitting me, you know what I'm saying? Kind of being attacking me. It ain't about an attack. It's about us growing and us developing. You know what I'm saying? Us supporting each other and us growing. So I feel like providing for our people is very essential. I feel like as men, we have to start providing wealth for our community, providing the vision and the program and the platform to create wealth for our community. Monetary wealth, you know what I'm saying, resources, labor, all these things must be put in proper perspective for our people for us to really grow and expand and have what we need to have as a community. I mean, providing is a very long subject. I got a lot more I want to talk about providing, but we'll probably get back on maybe part two. Because the major thrust of what I want to talk about was the whole position of protection. That's why I used those four. You know what I'm saying? As far as enforcing law and organizing people. So people like say, I mean, out of those four, I know Chief Malik maybe looked at like, oh, he's just a game member, woo woo woo. But I feel like when it comes to enforcing law, G, like the mantra of the Stones was stone running. Stone running. They want to run and govern realities. Matter of fact, every street tribe that we have in Chicago all had nationalism as the crux or the backdrop of what they was about. So most gangs in Chicago came to major fruition in the 60s. Vice Lord was way back in the 50s, but they really began to start pushing and became more relevant when it came like in the 60s under Bob Gore and other individuals. For a little bit I heard about the tribe, Black Peace Stone Nation, BDs, all that, you know what I'm saying? And every street tribe that we had, it was like GDN, BPSN, BDN, you know what I'm saying? The N don't stand for numbskull or nemesis, it stands for nation. It stands for nation. So every street tribe was talking about nation, nationalism. You feel me? And controlling and governing realities. That's what these nations was about. So when I put Chief Malik in his picture, it don't look like he shouldn't necessarily be in that equation because he's done great things. You know what I'm saying? Not saying in relative to manhood, relative to, you know what I'm saying, really governing and moving. You know what I'm saying? Men, the same men that a lot of us conscious people, you know what I'm saying, can't move. He moved them. You feel me? So I feel like, so we're gonna talk shit about a man. Understand like why I'm using him in this equation and why he was born in this 1 week time slot, along with Huey, along with the death of Colin, and along with the death of assassination, should I say, of Malcolm and Colin. So what I'm saying about that is we have to get to a level of being able to really enforce law. Because I was on Facebook, I think, the other day, and I heard about a sister in Roseland, a 12-year-old little princess in Roseland, that was abducted by some low life motherfucker. You feel me? And I feel like, what was the outcry from the men in society? Like, as men, if we can't really, you know what I'm saying, make sure our women and children are safe in the community, G, we don't deserve to even be here, G. I'm not trying to sound radical or weird. No, I'm just saying, like, as men, if we can't make sure our little girls and our women are safe to walk down the fucking street, cuz everything else should stop. Like, until my motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, our aunties, grandmas, and sisters and daughters can walk the motherfucking street in peace and see a group of 8 black men and be excited, like, yes, there goes some black men. I know I'm going to be good. Cause I see 8 black men walking down the street. Or I see 2 black men and 1 black man. She should see us, you know what I'm saying, walking down a dark street and feel relieved. Like, okay, boom, they got my brother. They got my protector. They got my provider right there. You feel me? Unless she sees that in us, G, we're fucking up. As men, we're fucking up. And we have to be able to be humble enough and introspective enough to realize that and start making moves to change that. I'm gonna tell you, like, man, like, we have to be men. Look at Huey P. Newton, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, when women seen Huey P. Newton, they were like, not just because he was handsome, but because, nigga, he was about that business. He was about that life. He was willing, you know what I'm saying, to live and die for the uplifting of the community. This is Huey P. Newton represented. This what he stood for. Same with Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Same with Malcolm X. They stood for, you know what I'm saying, something reputable. Like I said, they other black men call him their manhood. We understand, like I said in the clip I probably won't use, I was talking about how in the European psyche, women he's very misogynistic, so women are not put into a very, very high standard of understanding as far as like his threat. He looks at the man as being the primary threat because of his thinking. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like there has been a concerted assault to begin to weed out men like Khalid, men like Malcolm X, men like Huey P. Newton, men like Jeff Ford, men like Larry Hoover, and other men who was able to organize other men to do radical shit. So-called radical shit was really just real regular shit. To be able to protect your own community, that's regular, that's normal, that's natural. You feel me? But niggas been so twisted and so distorted, we don't even understand the basic necessities of how to live, how to function as men. So I feel like that's what we have to push a little bit more. The clock is ticking, so I'm gonna go ahead and go to part two and continue to express these ideas and these thoughts. Peace and love.